I want it. Thank you.
Before Bangkok, there was Ayutthaya, a stately capital of an empire and one of the largest cities in the world in its heyday. Images of the Buddha, wrapped in bright yellow silk, still sit in the lotus position among towering reliquaries, staring sightless out over the muddy waters of the Chao Phraya River. Beatific faces, sun-baked and silent, bring serenity to the crumbling brick walls and the dusty grounds, but the rows of now headless statues give an unsettling hint at the city's tragic end. Flowing south, the Chao Phraya River curves east a bit under the south side of the Ayutthaya Historical Park to meet the combined waters of the Pasak and Lop Buri rivers. A clong or canal across the north side of the old city makes Ayutthaya into a sort of island. The chadas and the ornate prangs, dotting the island like church steeples, contribute a sense of an exotic kingdom, but the city, founded in 1350 by King Ayutthaya, was actually quite cosmopolitan. Merchants and envoys from both western and eastern foreign lands mingled among its denizens, and a policy of religious tolerance was the norm during its 417 years as the Siamese capital. But Ayutthaya met a violent fate when the Burmese, having long battled over land and borders with the kingdom, finally breached its walls in 1767. Previous attempts had ended several times in failure, and once in the city falling under Burmese control. Often the arrival of heavy seasonal rains cut short the warring season as the land around Ayutthaya became saturated. In the Thai floods of 2011, the water actually engulfed the ruins at one point. But in 1767, rather than retreating from the floods, the Burmese stuck it out and attacked anew when the rivers receded. They set fire to the entire city. At the end of the battle, the king of Siam lay dead. Tens of thousands of prisoners were taken back to Burma, and gold Buddha images were melted down. The Siamese kingdom of Ayutthaya was no more. But the Burmese, under attack from the Chinese to the north, didn't even stay through the end of the year. This left the Siamese to regroup. Under a new leader, they founded a new capital downriver in Thonburi in 1768 and moved it across the river to Bangkok in 1782. The fallen capital is now a popular day trip from the modern one. Now, rather than soldiers mounting elephants to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, tourists climb aboard them to tour the ruins and have their photos taken. The ruins spread out and intermingle with residences. Today's Ayutthaya mixes the modern in among the historical, and with a population of over 60,000, it has become a centerpiece of Thai industry. The duality makes this UNESCO World Heritage Site fascinating both for its evocative ruins and its cultural experience. Locals still pray before Buddha images among the ruins and dine on delicious traditional foods in open markets just a short walk away. To see all this in a day, you need to arrive early in the morning. Grab your water bottle and begin with Wat Mathat. Thought to be the oldest and grandest of the temple complexes, Thai histories tell of a large central reliquary that eventually rose to 50 meters. The Burmese made an example of this place, setting fire to the kingdom's most important monastery at the time. The central prang survived until the 20th century before falling further into ruin. A single large Buddha image still remains, and the faithful come to pray before it. Wat Phra Sri Samphet is the largest temple in the Old City and also the site of the former Grand Palace. The three large chadas and impressive symmetry make this one of the most popular attractions in the entire archaeological park, though the story of its destruction may be more impressive than what stands today. The English audio guide is indispensable. Next door is Waharn Phra Mungkhan Ba Pit, home of a bronze Buddha over 12 meters tall and dating back to before the sacking of the city. The statue survived with some damage, but has since been restored and occupies a modern structure where Buddhists come to light candles, burn incense, and have their fortunes revealed by shaking numbered sticks out of a canister. Don't miss Wat Ratchaburna. Ayutthaya's story ended in violence, but this temple was born of it. At the death of King Intharakathirat in 1424 CE, the two eldest princes fought each other for the throne. They killed each other on this site, and a third son, Chausamphriya, became King Boromaracha and constructed this temple in honor of his brothers and his father. The temple construction is an example of merit-making, wherein good deeds affect your karma. To put it simply, in the local markets you may find live animals, birds, turtles, fish, which you can purchase and release in order to make some merit yourself. Finally, for the best view of the river and the surrounding ruins, climb the steps of the 35-meter Khmer-style prang at Wat Chewat Thanaram. In the early morning, the sounds of the waking city rise up to you, and at sunset, none of the other sites looks quite as remarkable as this symmetrically built complex. Look around you just before the park closes for the day, before the lights come on for the evening, as the tuk-tuks and motorbikes buzz and the locals venture out for dinner. Right here, right around you, was once the heart of a kingdom. Portugal was the first European nation to establish commercial contact with Ayutthaya in 1511 CE. Modern Thai cuisine and language reflect Portuguese influence. The Thai word for soapspo, for example, comes from the Portuguese sabao. By the 17th century CE, Ayutthaya was a strong maritime power and a center for global diplomacy. The Versailles Court of Louis XIV, r. 1643 to 1715 CE, received Ayutthaya's foreign minister, Kosapan, 1633 to 1699 CE, who was sent to France in 1686 CE to discuss the possibility of a military and trading alliance. Ayutthaya also attracted some notable foreigners. The Greek adventurer Constantine Phaulkon, 1647 to 1688 CE, who became a trusted advisor to Narai the Great, King of Ayutthaya, r. 1656 to 1688 CE. French Jesuit missionary Father Guy Tacquard, 1651 to 1712 CE, and English merchant George White, 1648 c. 1707 CE, who was a co-founder of the Reformed East India Company. Ayutthaya was described as the Venice of the East by the Portuguese explorer Fernão Mendes Pinto, circa 1509 to 1583, but the city's 417-year dominance came to an end in 1767 CE when the Burmese army attacked and destroyed Ayutthaya, including most of its official records, art, and literature. The city's history and that of its 34 kings had to be pieced together from the accounts of foreign visitors and old maps. What is left of the former kingdom are the ruins contained in the 289-hectare, 714 acres, Ayutthaya Historical Park, which was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1991 CE. Taking a tour of this park reminds the visitor that Thai-style architecture with its temples that look like cakes piled high with cream owes much to the Ayutthayan period. The park is extensive, so it is advisable to first visit the Chao Sam Phraya Museum, located on the island's Rojana Road, to get a sense of Ayutthaya's history and cultural importance. There are several exhibits to see, such as ceramics and clothing and a golden sword known as Frasang Kanchai Sri and thought to have belonged to King Intharacha R 1409 to 1424 CE. The handle is made of quartz crystal and the sheath is inlaid with precious gems. You can also take a virtual tour of ancient Ayutthaya on the National Museum of Bangkok website or on Facebook. It is relatively easy to walk or bicycle around the old city due to Ayutthaya's grid planning system, so you can wander around at leisure and soak up the history, but a fun way to get around is to rent a tuk-tuk, Thai three-wheeled motorcycle taxi. If there are not too many tourists, it might feel as though you are walking or riding through a ghost town. You can also hire a personal tour guide who will provide additional historical insights.
Representative of the Buddhism and the Lord Buddha. And see a lot of poetry in the temple.
The site's famous attraction is the sandstone Buddha head that the visitor will see at the base of a fig tree. There are many theories about the positioning of Buddha's head. One theory is that the jungle reclaimed Ayutthaya, but there is also the suggestion that relic hunters dropped the head because it was too heavy to carry, and so it was abandoned. To get that Instagram-worthy photo, you will need to crouch down and make sure your head is not higher than the Buddha. Otherwise, the Thais will consider you to be disrespectful. You can take a day trip to Ayutthaya, but there is so much to see, why not stay for a night or two? There are many hotels and homestays within walking distance of the historic park. Travel from Bangkok by riverboat, minibus, or car, but the train is the most scenic and relaxing way to travel to Ayutthaya. Trains depart regularly from Bangkok's Wallamphong station. The park is open from 8 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m., and there is no entrance fee to the park itself. The major temples do charge, and the cost is around 50 Thai baht, $1 and 55 cents. The best time to visit is December or January, when the heat is not so relentless. On any visit, make sure to follow appropriate dress code, long pants or skirts, no bare shoulders, and remove your shoes before entering a temple. After you have walked around for hours taking in the history, try some giant river prawns grilled over charcoal at one of Ayutthaya's restaurants. Nothing better